Shelter among the ruins. Asterisk, the rain was falling hard on the shattered world of Varnix 4. Smoke rose from the broken ground as lightning cracked across the sky. The battle had ended hours ago, but the fear still hung in the air like ash inside. The twisted wreck of an old outpost. A young human soldier named Liam moved carefully. His breathing was shallow. His armor was cracked, one arm useless. He had been separated from his unit during the retreat. Now, all he could do was find shelter and wait. He limped into the ruined shelter, dragging his leg. His helmet lights lit. The dark space metal walls, torn wires, debris. It wasn't much, but it would do. Then he heard a quiet noise. A faint breath. Liam froze. He raised his weapon, shaky but steady. Who's there? Silence. Then, from the shadows, a tall figure stepped forward. Not human. She was an alien. Slender, light purple skin, bright silver eyes, wearing armor unlike his, with marks he didn't recognize. Her arm was bleeding. One side of her helmet was shattered. Liam narrowed his eyes. You're not one of us. The alien looked at him, then lowered her weapon. She looked just as tired as he felt. I don't want to fight, she said in rough, broken English. I need rest. Liam didn't lower his weapon at first. His training said not to trust anyone, especially after battle. But something in her eyes, fear mixed with strength, made him pause. You're not here to kill me? She shook her head. War's over. For now. The thunder cracked again. Outside, the storm screamed like a dying beast. Inside, there, was only silence between them. Liam sat down against the wall, wincing. Fine. We both stay here tonight, but no tricks. She nodded once, then slowly sank down across from him, careful of her injuries. Minutes passed. Neither spoke. Just the sound of the wind outside and the slow drops of rain dripping through the cracks. After some time, Liam pulled a small heater from his bag. It blinked once, then started humming with warmth. The alien's eyes widened. She scooted a little closer to the warmth, clearly surprised. Liam noticed. Cold? She nodded. Your tech is better, warmer. He smirked a little. We like comfort. They sat in silence again. Finally, she spoke. Name? Liam, he replied. She hesitated, then said, Tari. He blinked. It was a simple name, not like most alien names he'd heard. He liked that. You fight for the Union? He asked. She nodded. Not by choice. Pressed into war. Liam grunted. Same. Their eyes met across the FIREHT. Both tired. Both injured. Both had lost people today. Funny, Liam said quietly. We were told your kind were monsters. Tari tilted her head. Same thing we were told about humans. He chuckled dryly. Yes, they lied to both of us. The wind howled louder. Then the structure groaned. A heavy beam creaked above them. Dust rained down. Without thinking, Liam reached out and pulled Tari toward him. A loud crash followed. The beam fell right where she had been sitting. She looked up at him, surprised. Why save me? He looked away, embarrassed. Didn't think, just did. She studied him. Her expression soft. They stayed close after that. No words needed. In that moment, the storm outside didn't matter. The war didn't matter. They were just two souls lost, tired, and strangely safe together. By morning, neither of them would be the same again. Shared breath. The rain had softened to a slow drizzle by morning, but the sky outside the broken shelter still looked like ashes. Inside, the silence had changed. It was no longer the cold, fearful quiet of strangers. It was a silence filled with warmth and questions. Liam opened his eyes slowly. He felt sore, but alive. He turned his head and saw Tari sitting near the small heater. She had removed part of her armor, showing glowing marks on her shoulder-thin lines like moving rivers. He stared for a moment. She noticed and smiled softly. Not wounds, birthmarks, my kind born with them. They glow, Liam whispered. It means I'm still alive. He gave a small nod. Good. Liam sat up and checked his leg. Still hurt, but not worse than yesterday. His arm? Still useless. Tar. I moved closer and sat beside him. She held something wrapped in cloth. Found this. In a crate. Ration bar, half burned, still good. He took it slowly. You sure? She nodded. You pulled me from death. You eat. He looked at her. This was strange. Just hours ago, they were enemies. Now, they were, what? Survivors? Allies? He took a bite and handed it back. Share. She smiled again. It wasn't like the sharp alien sneers he had seen in war videos. It was soft. Honest. They passed the bar back and forth, chewing in silence. Finally, Liam asked, Where are your people? She lowered her eyes. Gone. My squad. All dead. He swallowed. Mine too. Outside, thunder rumbled again in the distance. Another storm was coming. Tar. I looked up at the hole in the roof. This world never stops crying. Liam nodded. It's like it knows we brought war here. They sat like that for a while. Then Tari looked at him. What happens after this? Liam leaned back against the wall. I don't know. Command might come. Maybe they think I'm dead. Maybe I am. She frowned. And if they find me? They'll kill you. She didn't flinch. I know. He glanced at her. But I won't let them. Her eyes widened. Why? Liam shrugged. You didn't kill me. You shared food. You pulled me closer when I couldn't sleep. That's enough. She blinked slowly, her voice quiet. Your kind is strange. He chuckled. Takes one to know one. Suddenly, a faint noise echoed outside. A mechanical buzz. A scout drone? Tari stood quickly and pressed herself to the wall. Liam reached for his sidearm. The noise passed. Liam whispered, Could be ours. Could be yours. Tari nodded. Either way, not safe. Liam looked at the broken panels beside him and pointed. There, under those crates, small crawl space. If they scan, they won't see body heat. Tari crawled first. Liam followed, wincing with every move. Inside the dark space, they huddled. Close, breath against breath, heartbeat against heartbeat. It was silent again. But it felt different. Liam noticed the way Tari's hand slowly touched his chest. Not to harm, but to feel. To understand. You're warm, she whispered. Humans run hot. You smell like fire and sky. He raised an eyebrow. That's a first. She tilted her head. Is that bad? No, just new. For a long time, they stayed close. The world outside kept spinning. Drones passed. Footsteps in the distance. Voices in foreign tongues. But inside that small hiding space, something was changing. Walls built by war were cracking. Barriers of fear were falling. I was taught to fear your kind, she said. So was I, he replied. Tari's voice turned. Soft, but you were kind, not just to save me. You looked at me like I was a person. You are. She looked into his eyes. That's rare. He reached out and gently touched the side of her face. Not anymore. By the time the drones moved on and the sound faded, neither of them wanted to move. A night of war had become a morning of something else, not something fragile, something real. Asterisk. The touch of trust. Asterisk. The drone sounds faded into the distance, and only the steady beat of rainfall remained. Liam and Tari stayed quiet in the crawl space, listening for any sign of danger, but none came. Still, they did not move right away. Something had changed between them. Liam's hand still rested gently on Tari's cheek, and she hadn't pulled away. Her eyes, once hard and distant, now softened whenever they met his. He could see it, the fear fading, the trust growing. After a long pause, she whispered, "We should go back out." Liam nodded slowly. "Yeah, but be careful." They crawled out and returned to the main shelter room. The air was cooler now, but the small heater still glowed softly in the center. TAR. I picked up a broken piece of tech and examined it. "This used to be a comm device. You think it can work again?" Liam asked. "Maybe. I can try." Liam watched as she carefully removed a few panels and connected wires. Her hands were fast, skilled, nothing like the savage warriors Earth had warned about. "You fix machines, too?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "My brother taught me, before the war." Liam leaned back. "I fixed bikes, engines, nothing fancy." She looked at him. "We're not so different." "No," he said quietly. "We're not." Tari paused and asked, "What will you do if someone picks up this signal?" Liam shrugged. "Depends who answers." "And if it's your people?" He looked at her seriously. "I'll say I'm not alone, and I'll tell them not to shoot." "You think they'll listen?" "I'll make them." Tari blinked slowly. "You'd risk that?" "For me?" Liam nodded. "Yes." She lowered the device. "You don't know me." "You owe me nothing. I know you didn't kill me when you had the chance. You shared food. You trusted me. That means something." Tari didn't reply. Instead, she gently set the comm device down and walked over to the broken window. Her gaze was distant, lost in thought. Then she spoke. "In my world, my people are not seen as strong. I'm smaller, softer than the others. They say I'll never be a real warrior, never be enough." Liam walked beside her. "They're wrong." Tari looked at him. You survived a battle. You didn't give in to hate. That takes more strength than any weapon." Her lips curved into a soft, surprised smile. "You talk strange," he chuckled. "It's a human thing." Their eyes met again. A moment passed, and then, without thinking, Tari reached out and took his hand. Her fingers were cool. His were warm, but they fit perfectly. Outside, the skies began to clear. A faint blue light broke through the clouds. Sunlight touched the ruined shelter for the first time in days. Tari stepped forward and held up her hand to the light. "It's beautiful." Liam looked at her, not the sky. "Yeah," he whispered, "it is." Suddenly, a sharp sound rang out, metal clashing against stone. Both turned fast. Liam pulled his sidearm. Tari grabbed her blade. They crouched behind a broken console. Voices. Not human. Not hers either. Scavengers. They crept into the ruined base, 4 of them. Worn armor. Sharp weapons. No flags. "No mercy." Liam whispered. "They're not with either side." Tari nodded. "They'll kill us both." He looked at her. "Then we fight together." She gave him a nod, her hand still wrapped around his. From enemies to allies. In one night, Liam reached into his bag and pulled out a flash grenade. "One shot, and we run." Tari raised her blade. "I'll cover your side." He met her eyes. "Ready?" "Yes." He threw the grenade. A burst of light blinded the scavengers. Liam and Tari rushed forward, silent, fast, deadly. Together, they moved like one. She struck with precision. He fired with focus. In less than 30 seconds, it was over. The scavengers lay unconscious or fleeing. Tari breathed heavily, standing close to him. Liam smiled. "You are a warrior." She smiled back. "Not without you." And in that moment, beneath the rising sun, Two once enemies stood side by side, stronger together. Asterisk, enemies no more. Asterisk. Smoke drifted in the air as the last scavenger disappeared into the trees. The shelter was quiet again. Tari wiped her blade clean while Liam checked the unconscious bodies, making sure none would wake up soon. He glanced at her. "We make a good team." Tari gave a small nod, but her eyes were alert. "They'll be back, maybe with more." "Then we can't stay here," Liam replied. "We need to move before they regroup." Tari walked to the edge of the doorway and stared out across the gray field. "North Ridge. There's a hill with broken cones. Towers. If we can reach it, we might boost a signal far enough to call someone." Liam shifted his weight. "That leg of mine's not getting better." Tari moved back and knelt beside him. She reached into a pouch and pulled out a small injector. "Pain block." "Not much, but it'll help." He raised an eyebrow. "Trusting. Me with alien medicine?" She smiled softly. "It's what teammates do." He accepted the injector. The medicine burned slightly, but the ache faded. Liam stood, testing his leg. Still hurt, but not useless anymore. They packed quickly. Tari scavenged a small energy cell from one of the fallen scavengers. Liam found 2 water packs and an old map display, mostly broken, but still showing terrain outlines. They moved out. Together as they walked, the land changed from ash-covered ruins to rocky ground, craters, broken metal trees. Echoes of the war were everywhere. Tari walked ahead, quiet but focused. Her steps were light. Her armor clinked softly, but she made no noise otherwise. Liam watched her from behind. She didn't just move like a soldier, she moved like someone who had learned to survive when the world turned against her. "You never told me why you joined the war," Liam said. She didn't stop walking. "My family had debts. The Union promised they'd erase them if I signed up." He frowned. "And did they?" She glanced back. "Only if I die in service." Liam's jaw tightened. "That's not a deal. That's a trap." "I didn't have a choice." They kept walking. After a while, Liam broke the silence again. "We don't treat people that way. At least, not anymore." Tari looked up at him. "Your world sounds better." "It's not perfect," he admitted. "But we try." She smiled faintly. "Trying matters." As they climbed the rocky ridge, the sky turned clearer. A soft breeze blew across the valley, bringing the scent of ash and crushed flowers. It was strange, ugly, and beautiful at the same time. Atop of the hill, they found the tower. Half broken, but still standing. Cables hung like vines. Panels flickered with dying lights. Liam sat down, his leg throbbing again. "I'll rest. You work your magic." Tari nodded. "Give me 10 minutes." She moved fast, opening panels, connecting wires, feeding the small energy cell into the system. Sparks flew. A few screens blinked awake. Liam watched her. "You really know your stuff." "I listened more than I spoke," she replied. "In war camps, that's how you learn." As she worked, a message began flashing on one of the small screens. A blinking red dot pulsed at the edge. "TAR." I gasped softly. A ship nearby. Human signature. Liam sat up straighter. "Can we reach them?" "I think so. Boosting now." Static filled the speakers. Then a voice crackled through. "Survivor. Detected human ID confirmed. Respond." Liam grabbed the mic. "This is Sergeant Liam Ward. I have a companion non-hostile." "Repeat, non-hostile. We need pickup." There was a pause. Then, "Acknowledged. Shuttle inbound. Eta, 40 minutes." Liam turned to Tari. "They're coming." Tari looked unsure. "They might not take me." "They will if I say so." "What if they don't listen?" Liam stood. "Then I leave with you." Her eyes widened. "You'd abandon your people?" He stepped closer. I wouldn't be leaving them. I'd be choosing what's right. She stared at him for a moment, then whispered, Why? He smiled. Softly. Because you're not just some alien anymore. You're someone I trust. Someone I care about. Tari blinked. Her breath caught. Before she could answer, a deep hum filled the sky. The shuttle was approaching. One way or another, everything was about to change again. Asterisk, the arrival. Asterisk, the low hum grew louder as the human shuttle descended from the clouds. Its sleek black hull shimmered under the pale light, casting long shadows across the hilltop. Wind blew hard, kicking up dust and leaves around Liam and Tari. Tari stepped back, tense. Her hand instinctively moved to her sidearm, but she stopped. Herself, Liam noticed, and gently reached for her wrist. It's okay. I'm right here. She gave a small nod, but her silver eyes stayed fixed on the ship as it touched down with a hiss of steam and shifting metal. The ramp lowered. 2. Human soldiers in full armor stepped out, first helms on, weapons ready. Their eyes scanned the area. Then a third figure followed, an officer with a data pad in hand. Sergeant Ward? The officer called out. Walking forward, Liam stepped up, raising his arm in a friendly wave. That's me. The officer glanced at Tari, then back. At Liam. Our scans detected 2 life forms. You're saying she's not a threat? She saved my life, Liam said firmly. Multiple times. If not for her, I wouldn't be standing here. One of the armored soldiers tilted their head. That's an alien, Sergeant. I know, Liam replied. But she's not our enemy. Tari stayed still. Her posture was tense, but respectful. She didn't speak. The officer looked back at the ship, clearly thinking. We are ordered to retrieve survivors only, he said slowly, and strictly humans. Liam took a step closer. Then update your orders. I'm not leaving without her. The soldiers stiffened. The officer frowned. That's not how it works. Liam didn't flinch. Then you'll have to explain to command why a decorated field engineer chose exile over rescue. The officer paused, then sighed. Let me make a call. He turned away, walking back to the shuttle while speaking into his comm unit. The 2 soldiers lowered their rifles slightly, but kept a watchful eye on Tari. Liam moved beside her again. We're almost there. Just hold on. She looked at him. Why fight so hard for me? He smiled. Because you're worth it. Tari blinked and looked away, her voice softer now. No one's ever said that to me before. A few minutes later, the officer returned. You've been granted a temporary override, he said. She can board, for now, but she stays under watch. Liam exhaled. That's fine. Tari looked confused. What does that mean? It means, Liam said, turning to her, you're coming with me. She hesitated, then slowly followed. As he guided her up the ramp, the soldiers stepped aside, but watched her closely. Inside, the shuttle was cold and metallic. Seats lined the wall, and a soft blue glow lit the interior. Liam helped her sit and took the seat beside her. The ramp closed behind them, sealing out the wind. As the ship lifted into the sky, Tari finally relaxed her shoulders. She looked around, clearly amazed. Your ships are quiet, he chuckled. We like silence more than noise. She leaned back. It doesn't feel like war anymore. Liam looked at her. Because it's not. Not here. Not now. A soft voice came through the ship's speaker. ETA to station, 20 minutes. Tari closed her eyes for a moment, breathing slowly. Liam watched her. He couldn't stop thinking about how fast everything had changed. Just one night ago, they were strangers opposites. Enemies by blood, but not by heart. Now, he felt more connected to her than anyone else he had fought beside. Tari opened her eyes. Will your people let me live? They will, Liam promised. If they don't, I'll leave with you. She looked at him. Even if it means being hunted? He nodded. Even then. Tari touched his arm gently. You're not like the others, and you're not like they said you'd be. For a while, neither said anything. They just sat, side by side, sharing the silence. When the stars appeared through the shuttle's window, she whispered, I never thought I'd leave that planet. Liam smiled. And I never thought I'd meet someone like you. The stars. Outside, the shuttle stretched into lines as it entered faster than light travel. The cabin lights dimmed slightly, casting a calm blue glow across the seats. Tari sat quietly, her fingers brushing over the belt around her waist. Liam sat beside her, watching her without speaking. The other soldiers kept their distance, but the silence in the shuttle felt heavy, like everyone was waiting for something. She finally spoke. Your stars look different. Liam turned to her. They're the same stars, just from a different place. Tari gave a small smile. Still feel far from home. He leaned back. Home isn't always a place. Sometimes it's the people you find in the storm. She looked at him, eyes searching. You mean that? He nodded. I do. The shuttle's soft hum continued, steady like a heartbeat. After a while, the officer returned from the cockpit and handed Liam a small data screen. Here, he said. Brief from command. There? Curious about your guest. But for now, she stays under your watch. Liam read the screen. It wasn't a formal order, just a temporary hold. A window of time. He could work with that .tar. Shifted uncomfortably. They don't trust me. They don't trust anyone they don't control, Liam replied. But I've seen who you are, and that matters more. The shuttle dropped out of FTL with a soft lurch. Ahead of them, the orbital station came into view. Gray steel rings spinning in slow rhythm. Bright white lights glowed from the docking bays. Dozens of ships floated nearby, coming and going like quiet birds. The voice echoed again. Final approach. Prepare for docking. Tari's hands tightened slightly. You okay? Liam asked. She nodded, but her eyes stayed on the window. Never been on a human station. They'll all stare. Let them stare, he said. They'll see strength. When? The shuttle landed. The ramp lowered with a hiss. 2 guards stood waiting at the entrance, their expressions unreadable behind helmets. Liam stood first, then held out his hand to Tari. She looked at it for a moment, then took it. Together, they walked down the ramp. The metal floor of the station felt cold under their boots. Soldiers nearby paused to look. Engineers stopped mid-task. A few officers frowned, confused, but Liam walked tall, and Tari didn't let go of his hand. They were guided to a small debriefing room, plain, with a long table and 2 chairs. A camera blinked in the corner. A woman in uniform entered. Her rank bars glinted. Sergeant Ward, she said, sitting across from him. And, guest, she has a name, Liam said firmly. Tari. The officer raised an eyebrow. You understand this situation is delicate. Bringing an enemy combatant onto the station. She's not an enemy, he interrupted. She's a survivor, like me. The officer folded her hands. And yet she carries Union tech, fought for their side, and isn't registered under any known peace terms. Tari spoke up, voice steady. I was forced to fight. I never chose this war. And I didn't hurt anyone who didn't try to hurt me first. There was silence. Then the officer said, You'll both be placed under observation for 48 hours. After that, command will decide. Tari nodded. That's fair. The officer stood. For now, she stays with you, Sergeant. Liam nodded. Understood. They were led to a small crew quarters. 1 room. 2 bunks. A narrow window showing the planet below. Tari sat on the lower bunk and looked around. It's quiet. Liam chuckled. You're the first alien guest in this room. I'm pretty sure. She glanced at him. You trust me. Why? He sat down across from her. Because when the world burned, you were the only one who didn't treat me like a target. She looked down. And you saw me as more than what I looked like. That's rare. He leaned forward. We survived something together. That's not small. Pause. Then she smiled, gently. We survived. And now, we're something more? He nodded. I think so. Outside the window, the stars blinked, quietly watching. Waiting. In that room, with war behind them and questions ahead, two hearts beat closer than ever. What comes next? The next morning on the station felt nothing like the battlefield. There were no explosions. No smoke. No cries for backup. Just quiet air systems humming softly. Footsteps in the hallway, and the steady blinking of status lights above the bunk. Liam sat on the edge of his bed, slowly wrapping a new bandage around his arm. It still hurt, but it was healing. Just like everything else. I stood near the small window, staring out at the planet below. It shimmered in green and blue, so different from the broken world they had left behind. She didn't speak. Not yet. Liam looked at her. You slept? She nodded slowly. First real sleep in weeks. He smiled. Good. You looked peaceful. She turned to face him. I had a dream. What kind? I was walking in a place with no war, just wind and trees. You were there. We didn't have to run or hide. Liam lowered his hands. Sounds nice. I hope it becomes real. There was a soft beep at the door. Liam stood and opened it. The same officer from before entered, holding a small data pad. Her expression was serious, but not angry. I spoke. With command, she said, looking at both of them. They reviewed your report, Sergeant, and the logs from your shuttle. Liam nodded. And they agree. Your actions were unusual. Risky, but not wrong. Tari held her breath. The officer continued. The alien Tari will be allowed to remain on the station, under protected civilian status. Tari blinked. I can stay? The officer gave a slight nod. For now. But you're not a prisoner. Just monitored. Liam smiled. That's all we ask. The officer handed Liam a new badge. You've also been assigned temporary leave. Effective. Immediately. She turned to leave, but paused at the door. One more thing. Some of the crew are ... talking about you two. Liam raised an eyebrow. What are they saying? She glanced back, expression unreadable. That maybe peace starts small, with two people who decided not to hate each other. Then she left. Door closed. Tari stood still, her voice quiet. I thought they'd take me away. They didn't, Liam replied. She looked down at her hands. I don't know how to live like this. Peace is strange. You'll learn, he said, stepping beside her. And you won't be alone. She looked up at him. You really mean that? Liam reached out and took her hand. Every word. They walked out of the room together. Down the halls of the station. Heads turned. Some stared. Some whispered. A few smiled. But Liam didn't let go of her hand. And Tari walked taller than she ever had. In the days that followed. Things began to change. Slowly. I was given new clothes, simple, clean. She started working with human engineers, showing them how her people built energy systems. They were amazed. Liam visited the medbay less and less. His arm got stronger. His limp faded. But every night, he and Tari sat by the same window and watched the stars in silence. One evening, as they looked out across the stars, Tari whispered, Do you think others like us exist? Liam tilted his head. What do you mean? Others who fought. but then chose something different, something better. He smiled. I think they're waiting for someone to show them it's possible. She looked at him with bright silver eyes. Then maybe we go first. A long silence passed between them. A soft breeze from the air system stirred her hair. Liam leaned forward, gently brushing it back from her face. Where you go? I'll go, she smiled. Then let's find out what comes next. The camera above them blinked once. The stars outside stayed still, but something had shifted. Not just in that room. Not just between them. In the vast galaxy filled with war, mistrust, and silence. A new story had begun. Human and an alien once enemies. Now something more. Not just survivors, but the start of peace. The end asterisk.